Alright everyone, welcome back. Today we're leveling Enchanting. This is going to be a guide for leveling Enchanting from 1 to 375. You're going to watch me go from 1 to 375. It's going to take about 10 minutes. I'm going to show you what I'm crafting and then just kind of jump to the next one. That way you don't have to watch me sit there and craft for 20 minutes. But yeah, it's going to be a complete leveling guide so you can follow along. But I am going to be following the guide on this site. I'll have a link to that guide in the description below if you're looking for a text-based guide. Yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is find the enchanting trainer that's in the city that you pretty much call your home. For me, my home is pretty much Stormwind, so I came over here in the Mage Quarter to the enchanting trainer here, and this is where I'm going to start my journey out at. So the first thing we're going to do is learn Enchanting. And once we learn Enchanting, it actually gives us the ability to make a couple of skills right off the bat. Alright, so as soon as you learn Enchanting, you know how to make a couple of things. The first thing you're going to want to make is a runed copper rod. These rods are required to actually cast the enchanting spells to level up Enchanting. So the first thing we'll do is we'll make a runed copper rod. So to do that, you're going to talk to this vendor right here, and she actually sells these materials. So you can buy a copper rod and then some strange dust and lesser magic essence, and you can make a runed copper rod, and this will give us our first level. Now that we've got our runed copper rod, we can start casting Enchant, Barcer, Minor Health. So the way enchanting works, you're going to click enchant, and then you're going to click the item that you want to enchant. So if you're trying to do like a shield enchant, for instance, you're going to actually need a shield to be able to enchant it. So sometimes you may have to go to the auction house and buy like a little green trash piece to be able to enchant that piece of gear. But in this case, it's bracers, and I can just click and apply it to my bracers. So I'm going to go ahead and cast Enchant, Barcer, Minor Health until I'm level 75, and then I'll get back to you. Alright, so once you've got level 75, you want to make sure to stop there and grab Journeyman Enchanting. So yeah, after you learn Journeyman, I'm just going to go ahead and learn the rest of these skills. Okay, so once you've learned everything you can, then we're going to use Minor Deflection to level up from here from 75 to 85. You could also do Minor Stamina if Strange Dust is cheaper, but typically it's cheaper to go one Lesser Magic Essence and one Strange Dust. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and knock out these 10, and we'll go from there. Alright, so once you've gotten to level 85, we're going to make the journey from 85 to 100. And Enchant Bracer's Minor Stamina will actually be how we get there. It's going to cost 3 Strange Dust per instead of the 1 Lesser Magic Essence and 1 Strange Dust. So you're going to need a little more Strange Dust, but yeah, so this will be 85 to 100 Minor Stamina. So I'm going to knock that out right now. Alright, so now that we're level 100, we need a Runed Silver Rod. So we're going to go ahead and learn how to make the Runed Silver Rod. I'm also going to learn a couple of other things, but yeah, let's go ahead and make that rod. Alright, so now that we've got our Runed Silver Rod in hand, we're going to go ahead and use Minor Stamina 4 more times to knock that out and get to level 105. Alright, so looking back at the guide, it looks like for 105 through 120, we're going to be casting Minor Agility on our bracers. So let's check that out. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cast this until we're 120, and then we'll check back in. Alright, so now we're looking at 120 to 130, and it looks like Enchant, Shield, Minor Stamina. So I'm going to go ahead and learn what I can from the trainer, and see, let's see, Enchant, Shield, Minor Stamina. Now we're going to need some Lesser Astral Essence, and I'm going to need a shield. So I'm going to go grab those things, and I'll be right back. Alright, now that we've got our shield, we're ready to go again. So we are going to be casting 10 Enchant, Shield, Minor Staminas, and we're going to throw that on this worn turtle shell shield that I've got laying around. So yeah, I'll report back once I get to 130. Alright, so once you've hit 130, you want to learn Expert Enchanting, and along with Expert Enchanting, you're going to learn Lesser Stamina, which is going to take us to 150 from 130. So I'm going to go grab some Soul Dust, and I'll be right back. Alright, so now that we've acquired some Soul Dust, we're going to go ahead and run from 130 to 150 just by enchanting our bracers over and over again with Lesser Stamina. So I'm going to go ahead and run to 150, and I'll get right back to you. Now that we've hit level 150, we're going to need to make the newest rod, which is going to be the Runed Golden Rod. So I'm going to go ahead and learn all the things that I can learn, and we're going to make a Runed Golden Rod, which we should be able to. Yep. Alright, so now that we've made the Runed Golden Rod, we're going to be 151, and the next thing we're going to do is cast Enchant Bracer Lesser Stamina until we're level 120. So I'm going to go ahead and boost up to level 120 from 151 using Enchant Bracer, Lesser Stamina, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so once you're level 160, you can actually learn Enchant Shield, Lesser Stamina, which is going to be a little cheaper, depending. You might want to continue with Enchant Bracer, Lesser Stamina, but Enchant Shield, Lesser Stamina is going to be 1 Lesser Mystic Essence and 1 Soul Dust, versus you're going to be paying 2 Soul Dust for Lesser Stamina, and Lesser Stamina is yellow at this point. So that's why the guide suggests Enchant Shield, Lesser Stamina, and that's what I'm going to go with, but you may want to look at that as another option. So it just really depends on prices on your server. Okay, so once you have the mats, you can go ahead and run from 160 to 165, casting Lesser Stamina on a shield. So I've just got this little shield in my inventory here that I'm going to use. Okay, so once you hit 165, you're going to be able to learn Enchant Bracer Spirit. So the cool thing about Enchant Bracer Spirit is, with Lesser Stamina, it costs 1 Lesser Mystic Essence and 1 Soul Dust. But Spirit is just the Mystic Essence. So it's actually cheaper, and that's why we're going to use it to run from 165 to 180. So I'm going to go ahead and cast this, and alright. So now we're going to run from 165 to 180, and I'll report back once I hit 180. Alright, so once you hit 180, it's going to be time to learn skills again. Okay, so once we've learned our skills, we're going to cast Enchant Bracer Strength, and we're going to use that to go from 180 to 200. It's just 1 Vision Dust per cast, so it's a pretty great thing to level on. And I'm going to go ahead and start casting these now, and I'll be back when I hit level 200. Alright, so now we've hit 200, which is a kind of cool milestone that we're making some progress. It's time to talk to our trainer again, and we're going to learn Artisan Enchanting, just so we don't get capped at 225 by accident if you're not doing this all in one go. The next thing we're going to do is make a runed Truesilver rod. So we're going to gather the materials to do that. It's kind of it can be a pricey thing to get if you have trouble finding black pearls. They can be rare and overpriced on the auction house. But yeah, I'm going to go grab the stuff to make a runed Truesilver rod, and that'll get us to 201, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so once you hit 205, you're going to need to come to Oldemon and talk to Anora, and she's going to have Enchant Cloak Greater Defense, which is what we're going to level next. So we're going to use Enchant Cloak Greater Defense, and that'll take us from 205 to 225. So I'm going to go ahead and enchant my Cloak with Greater Defense, and I'm going to run that all the way to 225, and then I'll be right back. So now that we're 225, we can learn a few other things from the trainer. The one that we're most interested in is going to be Enchant Gloves Agility. That's what we're going to use from 225 to 235. Alright, so once you hit 245, you're going to want to learn Enchant Bracer Greater Strength. And that's going to take us from 245 to 265. So I'm going to go ahead and enchant my bracers because my mage needs strength. And I'll report back when I am 265. Alright, so at 265, we're just going to go ahead and learn what we can. It's kind of interesting. We can start enchanting leather, and you get enchanted thorium at this point. But you're not actually going to learn your next skill from the trainer. I'm going to head over to the enchanting supply store in Darnassus. This guy sells Enchant Shield Greater Stamina, and that's what we're going to use to level up from here. So I'm going to go ahead and learn that. And let's see, Enchant Shield Greater Stamina. We're going to need to grab some more Dream Dust, but this is going to take us from 265 to 290. So I'm going to go ahead and use that on my shield and start the process, and I'll be back when I hit 290. Alright, so at 290, you're actually going to have to head over to Moonglade. And we're going to be looking for someone called Lorelel Wintersong. And Lorelel is actually inside of the inn, right in the middle. Right, I would say it's where the H is in Nighthaven. And you're going to be buying 2 things from her. One will be the formula for your runed Arcanite rod. And you also want to pick up Enchant Cloak Superior Defense while you're here, because we're going to use that to get from 290 to 300 as well. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and learn both of these, and I'm going to go grab the mats that I'll need to make the runed Arcanite rod. So once you've got the mats for the runed Arcanite rod, you want to go ahead and make one of those, And then you're going to use Enchant Cloak Superior Defense to level from 290 to 300. So I'm going to go ahead and level to 300, and then I'll get back to you. Alright, so we finally hit 300, which is a huge milestone. And at this point, we can actually make a runed Fell Iron Rod. So we are going to go back to our trainer and talk to him about that. Okay, so now that we're 300, we're going to have to come to either Honor Hold or Thrallmar, depending on if you're Alliance or Horde. But if you're Alliance, you're going to come to this tower, and at the top of the tower, you're going to see Johan Barnes, who's going to teach you some new skills. So we're going to learn Enchanting the next level so we can not get capped out and lose levels that way. And then we're going to learn Runed Fell Iron Rod, which is why we ran over here. So once you've made your rod and you're 301, we're going to go ahead and use Enchant Cloak Superior Defense, and that's going to take us to 305. Okay, so once you hit 305, you're going to use Enchant Bracer Assault to get from 305 to 315, and Enchant Bracer Assault is going to start costing Arcane Dust, so we finally moved into sort of outland materials, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and knock out 305 to 315, and then I'll be back. Alright, so now that we're 315, we are going to learn a lot of things, but we're going to use Enchant Cloak Major Armor to go from 315 to 325. So we're going to be casting that 10 times. So I'm going to go ahead and level from 315 to 325 off of Enchant Cloak Major Armor. And once I've enchanted my cloak, we'll be back at 325 to move on to the next thing. Okay, so now that we're 325, we're going to learn Enchant Chest Major Spirit. And we're going to use Enchant Chest Major Spirit to go from 325 to 335. I have been in situations where Greater Planar Essence was just prohibitively expensive, and in that case I would say just use something like Enchant Gloves Assault, which would require Arcane Dust to kind of get through these levels, but we're going from 325 to 335 off of this Enchant Chest Major Spirit, so we're just getting to 335 now. So I'm going to go ahead and enchant my chest a few times and get to 335. Okay, so once we hit 335, we need to go to Shatrath and speak with Miss Madam Ruby here. And she's going to sell us the formula for Enchant Shield Major Stamina. Let's see, it's on this page. She sells a lot of enchanting formulas and stuff, so definitely somebody you want to talk to. Enchant Shield Major Stamina, yeah, right here. Okay, so we're going to take that, we're going to learn Enchant Shield Major Stamina, and alright, so here we go. This is going to take us from 335 to 341, so we're going to go ahead and put that on our trusty Worn Turtle Shell Shield, and it's too low level. So I'm going to go find a shield that I can actually cast this on, and I'll be right back. And we're back. Okay, so this time we have a shield that we can actually enchant. So we're going to run from 335 to 341, enchanting the shield with Major Stamina. Okay, so once we're 341, we're going to buy the formula for Superior Wizard Oil. And once we've bought that formula, we're going to learn to make Superior Wizard Oil. And this is something where at 345 they're suggesting to make Major Strength. I'm going to see how far the Superior Wizard Oil will take me, but the guide says just to run it to 345, but we're going to keep running it and see where it'll go. Okay, this is the point where you have another option, so I'm going to go ahead and show you the other option, and we'll go from there, because if you can make Superior Wizard Oil and you're going to be using it for raids, then that would be really good to keep making this instead of just enchanting some gloves over and over again with Major Strength. But I definitely want to go look at the Major Strength enchant, and we'll go from there. Okay, so thanks to being level 345, we can learn Enchant Gloves Major Strength. So we're going to go ahead and pick that up. And now we're going to look. So Enchant Gloves Major Strength is actually orange, so you can use this to go from 345 to 351. The other option is Superior Wizard Oil, if you want to keep making these, because they also sell for good. So if money is no object, then I would just do Enchant Gloves Major Strength. But Superior Wizard Oil, making that to 351 may be a really smart move. So I'm gonna go ahead and enchant gloves major strength until I get to 351, and then we'll go from there. All right, so once you hit 351, you're gonna need to talk to Vodson. I don't know how to say this guy's name. We'll go with Vodson. And Hellfire Peninsula in the Temple of Telemat. And he is going to sell the recipe for the runed Adamantite rod, which I believe is the last rod that you're gonna have to make. And I'm going to go grab the mats to make that, and I'll report back, and we'll make our runed Adamantite rod. Okay, so now we can make our runed Adamantite rod. This is going to require 8 greater planar essence, an Adamantite rod that you'll have to get from a blacksmith, 8 large prismatic shards, 1 primal might, and your runed fell iron rod that you have previously. So we'll go ahead and make that. And now we're 352. And we're gonna run the rest of the way to 361 using Enchant Gloves Major Strength. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this up to 361, and then I'll get back to you. All right, so once you're 361, you're gonna need to talk to Yithyar. Yeah, Yithyar. He's in Karazhan. He's actually right after you pass, you'll have to go through Curator and then kill a bunch of trash. He's actually close to where you fight Netherspite. But yeah, we came to him so we could get this formula Enchant Ring Striking. It requires being revered with the Consortium. So Enchant Ring Striking is definitely the way to go from 361 to 371. So I'm going to level up from 361 to 371, and then I'll get back to you with where we go from there. Okay, so now we're 371, and the next one is another Enchant Ring, and this time it's going to be Healing Power. And you have to be revered with the Shatar. So I'm gonna hop over to that vendor and we'll go from there. Okay, so once you find Almador here, so we're gonna get Enchant Ring Healing Power, which actually does require being revered with the Shatar. So we'll go ahead and grab that and learn how to create that. So now that we're at 371 and we know Enchant Ring Healing Power, we can go ahead and enchant our rings and go from 371 to 375. So I'm gonna do that real quick. All right, and there we have it. We have done it. We are 375 enchanting. It has been a long journey, but I appreciate you guys sticking it out with me, and congratulations on getting 375 yourself if you were following along with this video. It's been a very, very long journey, but enchanting is a great skill to have. The ring enchants are super good. And you also can disenchant stuff that drops in dungeons and make a little extra money that way. So it'll help your group out, it'll help your guild out, and it'll help yourself out. So yeah, enchanting is just a really great thing. If you're going to level something like a mage like this, I would definitely recommend picking up tailoring. And then you can disenchant stuff to get your mats to do your enchanting. So yeah, I appreciate you guys sticking with me through this whole process. If you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel, it would really help out. I'm going to make some more guide videos and help you guys level some other professions and classes and such. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.